When talking about film, space, and memory, there is no better movie than The Backrooms. Releasing in 2026, this movie roughly goes over our main character Clark encountering this room called the Backrooms, where it's an endless sepia hallways, where there's damp carpet and fluorescent lights. Now, as Clark slowly figures out this space and finds out what it is, it kind of makes no sense to him. There's things from real life in there. There's stop signs, there's shoes, there's chairs. Things from his own actual store end up appearing in that backrooms. Now, what does this have to do with space, time, and memory? Well, the idea of the backrooms is all set in memory itself. When you think about the backrooms, if you know what the backrooms are, you think about maybe the one story where there's levels. That's the original Wikipedia version of the backrooms, where there's multiple levels and there's a bunch of entities and all that kind of stuff. But we're just discussing the movie and Kane Parsons' representation of the backrooms. We're just looking at a space that is trying to copy human memory. And we can see this throughout the entire movie. We see this with Captain Clark's clone. We see this with Barbara's clone. We even see this with the dude who sat in the chair that Clark ate from. I'm pretty sure he was the guy in the ad at the start of the movie that Clark was watching. About the ranch with the furniture. Anyways, what the background tries to do, it tries to copy human memory, but it can't do it completely. It tries to copy humans. It can't do it as well as we are. So in this churn, it copies emotions. It copies the strongest emotions of each person. We see this with Captain Clark's copy. We see how strong his emotions are. He's angry. And we see throughout the film all these kinds of things. To talk more about memory, we all have this idea of when we were kids, of nostalgia, and all that kinds of stuff. The Backrooms is literally that, but over, taken to an extreme amount. You get things from your past that you might remember. Laundry, old places you might remember. You might recognize these places. Like the one scene with the Christmas tree, that felt so nostalgic. The lighting around it felt like when you woke up as a kid for Christmas and the lights, only the Christmas tree was on. The place is just nostalgic. Now, including the movie and the actual Backrooms themselves, I feel like the Backrooms themselves delve more into memory because there's multiple levels, and there's levels where you literally go back in time in your memory. There's a level where you end up being in a kind of a preschool area where you literally relive your childhood memories in that level. That is one of the levels in the Backrooms. There are multiple levels where other things happen and kind of similar things where you relive your memories and stuff like that. So we do know that time is a constraint in the Backrooms, which is another big piece of this. The physical time we're in the Backrooms. We do not understand whether time is relative in there. So when you walk into the Backrooms, you could spend months in there, years, and you could really only be there for a few days outside of the real world. We see this with Clark when he actually goes insane during the final scene. We don't know how long he's been in there, but we know he's lost his mind. He's way beyond that of a regular person. His mind is broken. This is when Mary first walks into the Backrooms and she encounters him, and he ends up strangling her and bringing her to this kitchen. That's where they have the big discussion where he ends up dying. Anyways, that has a lot to do with time. We don't understand time as much as we really could from the Backrooms. Now, as Tarkovsky says in Sculpting in Time, in Chapter 3, he quote says, "Time and memory merge into each other. They are like the two sides of a metal. It is obvious enough that without time, memory cannot exist either." And this could not be more true for the Backrooms, because without memory, the Backrooms doesn't exist, and without time, there's no idea of when the Backrooms can exist. The Backrooms obviously exist in this 1990s area. You know, the rooms themselves are based off old offices, the fluorescent lights and the damp floors. Now, this is all based off human memory. The Backrooms itself is memory. And it's time. It literally takes an office and puts it in this area where it tries to remember a certain place in time. It takes time and memory and makes it outside. Now, without each other, they wouldn't exist. Without the memory of the humans, there wouldn't be no offices with them. And without time, there wouldn't be no Backrooms. We don't know when the Backrooms could have been. They could have been the medieval times. Who knows? They might have even been back there. As another quote that he says in this exact chapter is, "For the first time in the history of arts, in the history of culture, man found the means to take an impression of time, and simultaneously the possibility of reproducing that time on screen as often as he wanted, to repeat it and go back to it." This is really interesting because, that's literally what movies are. We watch movies because we want to see other characters live their lives. We take a moment from our lives and we watch another character express themselves and see how this world around them reflects on them. Now we see this with Clark. You know, he walks through the backrooms and we see these areas, these beautiful shots of these endless hallways. And we see these houses during the last scene where we see all these cuts of the random houses, even the last house that they take place in where the kitchen is, where there's just a bunch of houses in the street. Like, this is memory. Like, this looks so surreal to us. We can't even understand it to some point. And the only way we're going to get this is through the film. It literally takes time and memory and puts it in the backrooms and allows us, for us, to watch it as the viewers. We are able to sculpt this time and allow ourselves to enjoy it without having to be a part of it. Same thing goes with the regular backrooms with the levels. People have made games, they made videos. Parsons literally started his entire career because of this. He made renders of the backrooms, and that's how he got to where he is now. And what does this have to do with time, space, and memory? Well, I mean, literally, like, the entire backrooms, space. Let's talk about space, first of all. We haven't even went over space. The backrooms is massive. We don't even know how massive. It could be infinitely massive. There's so much space that we can't even understand it. And the humans that are taking place in the space don't even understand themselves. I mean, it literally takes everything together. That's what it is. Bringing it back to the backrooms, why it resonates so much. Like, why did this become so popular online? I mean, it's literally just a bunch of rooms with a damp carpet and fluorescent lights. Why would it resonate so deeply with so much people? But it's not just a scary place. It's not just the endless hallways. It reveals what cinema does to our time and memory. It reveals what art does to it as well. We go to the cinemas for time. We go there because we want to watch something. Not because we want to lose time. Because we want to see time held into a certain moment. Now, obviously Backrooms did not start as a movie. It started as an idea, which then got into this Wikipedia story. So it's a whole different thing, you know. It's not the same as a movie, but it still is art. People wrote down stories, they created levels, it became this whole thing. What can you take away from the backrooms? Let's talk about the figure. As said on Memory and Imagination in Cinema, in quotation marks, the figure is one of the ways in which a film exists in the mind of a spectator as a result mainly of the work done by his memory and by his imagination. Now, obviously, there is more than a his, there is a her, there's a they, there's not just a his. But this was written back in the days. Which is obviously no excuse for him. He should have been more woke, but let's get past that. Anyways, let's talk about the figure. What do people take away from the backrooms? I mean, we watch it, and what do we enjoy about it? We enjoy this feeling it gives us, this absurd feeling of maybe you walk into some place and you'll end up in this backrooms where there's endless hallways and you have no idea where you are. This idea of being alone in this space, and you have no idea where you are in time, why you are there. And you see things that remind you of your past memory. You see also like stop signs. You see all this kinds of stuff around. And your figure could be what you take away. Like, oh wow, this is really interesting. I feel this sort of way when I watch this movie. And I can speak for myself when I watched the movie. I felt surreal when I watched it. The idea of the backrooms make me feel surreal to begin with. The idea of these endless rooms that you can never escape feels insane to you. These endless levels that are impossible to escape. You go through each one, fighting entities, fighting random things that happen to you. Like level 1, you have level 0, you have the actual backrooms. And for example, you move to level 1, you're in the habitual zone. You know, you're moving through all these levels, and you get these different areas. Like there's pipe rooms, there's the pool rooms, there's a bunch of places that remind you of stuff that take space to this next level beyond that of just the original backrooms. All in all, the best thing we can take away from the backrooms is how much it affects us with how we see time, space, and memory. The backrooms in itself is that, and allows us to escape for just a moment into this. The levels themselves, people write them because there's either some fantasies about, oh, I can go back in time and I can see this, or this is crazy. For example, there's a level in the backrooms, the original backrooms, let's call it it's level exclamation point. Like some levels don't even make sense. Like this level, you're just in a hospital and you're just running. You're running from monsters, that's all. And there's even a level called level fun, where you're just walking through a party where there's these giant yellow monsters that want to kill you if you make noise. And they turn you to cake and they eat you. Like it's just these random things. It's a collection of people creating their memories and putting them into time and space. That's what the Backrooms is. And it literally puts it perfectly for everybody to enjoy. And that's why we love the Backrooms.